Yeah, on the animal space, V-I-C-E, cause no vice is strong enough to go against.
What is going on, Novice Nation? It's your boy, Novice. Oh. It's super windy today. It's not giving me a lot of incentive to want to go outside. We've got a bike ride planned in about an hour. But I need it. I need to get back into physical activity. I've been doing some reflections on my weight loss and weight gain journey. You know, I did a video a couple days ago, a week ago or so, kind of reflecting on that, looking at some before and after pictures at my heaviest and then where I'm at right now. And I like the progress. I want to keep up the progress, but it's really, really hard to sometimes. I have been playing with the idea of naming my enemies, my struggles, rather than just putting it under the umbrella of this addiction. I know what my triggers are, but there's a difference between your actual triggers, stress, depression, anxiety, for me, namely. But there's a difference between that and your actual enemies, situations, circumstances that make these things worse. And so one of those is the contention in my relationship right now that creates a lot of stress. And that's a matter that I want to keep much more private and offline. But a lot of that can create a lot of that stress. Another big one is work and the stress of being at work and the demands and expectations that are of me there to perform and meet performance requirements, and all of that in a remote virtual environment where I'm on a computer all day is very triggering for me. And then the other big one is lack of sleep. The later that I stay up, the more likely that I am to relapse. So, I'm sorry, I have a mustache hair that's going the wrong way. That's annoying. Side note, I've decided that for now I'm going to keep growing my hair out, including my beard, until Halloween to see what I have to work with, just for some funsies. But, yeah, I know you can tell that the beard is coming back in, starting to be able to fill in some of these patches. Because I've had people tell me that I've got a really thick, luscious beard. I don't necessarily think that's true. I've got actually a pretty patchy beard. There's a pretty good one. Right here's always been a good one. Yeah, there's a little bit of a disconnect between the goatee line and the cheek line. I've got a pretty soft patch right here on both sides of my cheek line, and then there's a huge one right there. Now, most of those things fill in as I let it grow out, but I'm putting some focus into my hair and facial hair health, I guess, because when you look good and when you feel good, then you feel good. And the better that you feel, the less likely that you are to indulge and to relapse. So, as vain as it might sound, I have been putting a lot of extra effort into my physical appearance. Hopefully that shows. I especially love looking at this one picture in particular. Is my least favorite picture of myself in existence, and I like comparing that to where I'm at right now as just a little bit of a glow up reminder. But my arm's getting tired. But naming these struggles, and I was issued a challenge today to really name them, and for a little bit of fun and a little bit of a thought experiment to think of them as your arch enemies, I guess. And so I took it to the logical extreme, which was to have ChatGPT help me actually formulate and visualize these enemies as monsters. And part of it is inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. My brother plays a lot of that and similar RPGs. I've never been big into them, but I like the artwork style presented in a lot of these games. So partially inspired by that, also partially inspired when we were kids in the DARE program, in mental health and drug education programs and classes and whatever. There was a deck of cards that we were issued that had all of these carcinogens that are in like cigarettes and other drugs to like scare you away from putting any of this into your body, which I guess worked because I've never drank or smoked anything. That's not a brag. It's just I never want to put anything into my body I'm fucked up enough as it is already, excuse my language, but I'm already so anyway, I have so many of my own issues as it is. The last thing that I need to do is destroy my body physically as well as mentally. So there was this deck of cards that had these monsters used to represent each of the carcinogens in cigarettes and methamphetamines and all of that. And they were some really scary looking creatures. Now, they didn't really scare me straight because I never had that as a concern to begin with, but I thought they were cool, and to have that as a visual representation. And so this challenge of naming your enemies, your struggles that lead you down these negative neural pathways that create these negative feedback loops, I took it to that and had ChatGPT help me to visualize what these bad guys, what these monsters, what these enemies or villains might look like. And I really like the result. Of course, you know, AI is pretty crazy in what it can create instantaneously these days. But so these three separate entities or thoughts, as well as some tips and strategies on how I can help start combating each of those things. But the biggest one, which is one that I haven't put to visualization just yet, is my own self-hatred and my own self-loathing. And of course, the easiest way to combat that is with self-love. I focus so much on my physical appearance, not because I love the way that I look, but because my self-confidence is so low that I try to boost that. And so I got to get back into some good physical activity as well to maintain that. Reflecting back on how I felt about my body when I was at my heaviest, it was terrible. And I don't want to get back to that point. So just having a little bit more discipline, and that's what most of this comes down to, is just discipline and emotional regulation. Because as I'm starting to realize, I apparently have zero of that. So I'm going to hopefully get another video edited and uploaded today. I am going to trim this damn hair that keeps poking me in my mouth, because I would love to just let it grow out. But if you've ever grown a mustache before and you have them just poking you, let me know how you deal with that without just trimming them. I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole lot of nothing today, but remember to subscribe, please. Remember, you will die. Remember to live, remember to love, and remember truth. I will see you in the next video. Peace. remember to just, let me try that again. Remember to live, remember to love, and remember truth. I will see you in the next one. Let me try that one more time. I'm tripping, guys. I apologize. I'm sure I'll chop this up and edit out the shit, but